In this video, we'll do our first Python program, and we're going to use Turtle, which is a module you can add into Python to make it work like Snap, where you can draw patterns. But first, we should actually have our first traditional Python program, is we're going to print the phrase hello world. And so in Python, you have a print, open parentheses, and then inside quotes, you say hello world. And this is our first program, and we can run it, and it prints hello world. But we want to use, let's get rid of that. We want to use Turtle. And so Turtle works the same way as Snap, where you could go forward, lift the pen up, lift the pen down. But instead of move, the command is forward, and inside parentheses, you type in how far you want to go forward. Move 20 pixels. And let's just run that and see. And you notice that in this case, the pen was put down by default, so we didn't have to put the pen down. Okay, so but we can do things like pen up, and that'll lift up the pen, and you don't need anything inside the parentheses there. And let's go forward again. 20. If we run this, puts the pen down, draws, puts the pen up, and moves. And let's make this repeat, so we can make a dashed line. And in Python, in Snap, you had a repeat block, but we also had a for loop. And for Python, we're going to use a for loop. And the syntax is you type the word for, and you give it a variable. Snap had the same thing for I. And we're just going to give it a range of values that we are going to loop over. And the first time around I is 0, then it goes 1 all the way up through 9 and then stops. So you type for I in range, and you put how many times you want it to loop, put a colon, and then now everything that's indented is looped through. So if I hit the tab here, then this indentation, this will loop a few times. And then so let's actually put the pen down before we finish looping. And there we go. So it'll go forward, lift the pen up, go forward, put the pen down, and then it loops and does this 10 times. Let's run it and see. Went off the screen. So we can actually do some of the movement commands that you saw in Snap. And we can just put in, let's say, the screen now is 400 pixels across. So let's go back to -200. And leave it at the y is 0. Let's see if we move to the right spot. Look what I did. I moved, but I forgot to clear it. So we could have lifted the pen up and put the pen down, but let's also learn the clear command. And it's just clear with parentheses. We don't need anything inside the parentheses here. So there we go. That's a dashed line. Now, we saw that one of the most important things in programming is to be able to make a function. In Snap, it's called a block. So we're going to make a function that makes a dashed line. And we're going to define the function, so it starts with the word def. We can name it anything that we want. Let's just call it dashed. And you put the parentheses there and a colon. So again, this starts the definition of the function, and now we just got to put the commands that we want to see inside the function inside that, also indented. So I'll delete those, paste them here. Now I want this to be indented some more, so it's inside the function, so I hit the tab key. And here we go. This is a function that will loop 10 times, go forward, down, and so forth. And so now, and by the way, I put this at the top because traditionally we mostly put the function definitions near the top. And then this right here is the program will start running here. And so we need to call the function dash. So let's move to the right location. And then here's where we call the function dashed. Okay. So it'll go back, clear, call dashed, and then here it'll jump up to the function, loop around, and then print stuff out, or draw stuff. There we go. So we just made a function. The function has a loop inside of it, a for loop that loops 10 times. But let's make this function a little bit smarter because, well, actually, let me show you how we can make another function. Let's go back. Let me make the pen up. And then let's go to another location, draw another dashed line. Let's still go with this with the x, but let's have the y go to 100. And so now we can use our dashed function again, and it'll just make a dashed line from where we start. So it draws there. Oh, I forgot to put the pen down. Oh, wait, we did put the pen. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I forgot. I wanted to go here and then put the pen down. But you look what happened, that it didn't put the pen down, and so when it drew here, it should have drawn. But then luckily, it did put the pen down on the second and on all the other loops. So anyway, I fixed my error. So this is why a function is wonderful, because you can just reuse it all the time. And once you get your function working, it's easy to use. Let's make it a little bit smarter so that right now we're looping 10 times, but let's make it so we can loop however many times we want. And then let's just call this iteration. That's too fancy of a word. Let's just call it times. How many times we want it to loop. So now when we call dash, just say let's only loop 4 times here, and let's loop 8 times here. Okay, so what's going to happen here is it's going to call dashed, but this number 4 will be stuck into the variable times. So now we don't want to loop just 10 times. We want to loop however many, whatever that value is. Okay, so here, let's do this. So now it's going back. It went 4 into times, so it only went, it puts a number 4 there and loops 4 times. And next time around, it loops 8 times. We could make it even a little bit smarter. Let's give it another variable. Let's say how fine we want the dashed line. So let's do dash length. Okay, so this is going to be how long our dash length is. It's not going to always be 20. It's going to be whatever we put in there. So here let's make 4 with really small dashes. Let's say only 5 units long. And let's make 8 of these with longer dashes. Let's say twice as long, 10. Okay, so now where do we want to use dash length? Well, here. We don't want to go a dash length. We don't want to go 20 every time we want to do dash length. And so now, let's see how that works. Yeah, look at that. It went 4 times with only a small dash, and then it went 8 times with a long dash. We probably can make this smarter yet, but I think that's good enough for now.